What's up, guys? You might be wondering why follow my advices. Well, this was me 5 months ago with around 25% body fat or even more. And this is me now. As is in this video, I'm about 12% body fat right now. If you want to get to about 12% body fat, you have to do a lot of changes. You have to be ready for those changes. If you're not ready in your life right now, skip that video and come back to me when you're ready. If you know you have, like, Christmas is coming and you know you'll eat sugars and you won't control your caloric intake, don't start. You won't finish. You won't see the results. First, be ready in your life, in your head. Second, be ready to make sacrifices. When I started my journey to 12%, I was eating sugars, I was eating fast food, restaurants, even at home when I was cooking for myself, I was eating crap, like chicken burgers, meat pies, peanut butter toasts. As a meal, you won't make progress when you eat that kind of food. I didn't start the gym, the cardio, the diet. I didn't start everything at once because then your body won't have time to adapt. The changes will be so damn hard, you won't make it past 2 weeks. I'm not giving you 2 weeks. If you drop everything right now, the fast food, you start doing cardio, you start going to the gym every day, you're not making 2 weeks into it. You gotta set yourself a main challenge, a main goal of going, I don't know, from 25 to 12% body fat. That's your main goal. But you have to set yourself short-term challenges so that when you make them, you're like, okay, I'm just a little closer to my final goal, but I've reached a little goal. Through my journey, my first goal was coming from that 25%, going down to the 20 percentile, about 20%, we'll say. So 5% body fat decrease. I wanted to eat better and I wanted to get in shape, go back to the gym. So for the first month, what I did was go back to the gym, flip that switch in my head of going from nothing to something. So first month, I went to the gym 3 times per week. After a month of going consistently, I knew I was ready mentally, I knew I was ready physically, and I knew I was ready in my life. I was ready to take that step and make that change. So after a month, I did a carnivore diet. I started it because I knew people were saying it was melting fat at a crazy pace. Actually, it did for the first 2 months. So let me come back to that. I knew I didn't want to cut everything from my diet and go through a strict carnivore diet because for me, I knew I couldn't maintain it. So what I did was animal-based. By the way, your cravings for carbs in the first week, maybe even 2 weeks, is gonna be insane. Your body's gonna adapt to having no carbs intake, and it'll start switching from getting its fuel from carbs to getting its fuel from fat. That's why you're melting fat. So first month, gym only, 3 times per week. On the second month, I added my diet and I started going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. On the third month, I stayed with the carnivore diet, but I started doing cardio. I started a challenge of waking up before work at 6 a.m. to do cardio. I'm not talking about running 50 miles to the point you can't breathe no more. I'm talking about just going outside and walking for 50 minutes for about 4 to 5 kilometers. Just to start doing a little more exercise and getting another challenge done, getting another part of my journey done. So small challenges. I told myself I was doing this for a month, then I'll see where I'll go from there. Meanwhile, I started going to the gym every day. So first month was the weight training. Second month was the diet. Third month was the cardio. You see how I didn't drop everything the first day? Because at first you'll get excited. It's easy to start something. It's harder to maintain it over a long period of time. If you don't set yourself small challenges and add on as you go, you'll get discouraged. You'll say it's too much effort for what I'm getting. For the first 2 weeks, when I did the cardio, my body fat was still melting. When I finished my third month, something kind of bad happened. First off, while I was training every day, I got injured. My split wasn't really good for my body. I was training legs one day, after that chest one day, after that back one day, and then I was training shoulder one day. And I was repeating that every day with no breaks. So I overtrained my shoulder. I stopped going to the gym for about 3 to 4 days. After that, I started getting better. I switched my program to push-pull legs, and I added a day of break every week so that my body could recover. That happened around the end of the second, beginning of the third month, when I started doing cardio. At the end of the third month, something happened that made me rethink about my diet. I went down to a certain body fat level, but for whatever reason, my body fat went up 2%. That's when I decided to quit carnivore. It wasn't because I was tired of doing it or that I needed to eat carbs absolutely. It was because of that 2% increase in body fat. I know if I kept going with the carnivore diet, my body would have probably adapted over time and just maybe go back to melting fat. But for me, in my mind, it was a sign that I needed to go back on a normal diet. The trick is, when you go back to carbs, stay clean. Potatoes, rice, oatmeal, and berries. Those are the only carbs I was eating. What the carnivore diet did for me when I dropped carbs was also dropping all the added sugars. So the carnivore diet helped me clean the way I eat. That was my goal with it. I achieved that because I kept doing it for 2 months straight. But now it was time for a change because my body was plateauing, if I could say it like that. So when I decided to switch back to a normal diet with carbs in it, never came back to foods with added sugar. Never did. Probably never will go back. And then 2 weeks after that, I did another test and I went down to the same level of body fat I had before hitting a plateau. The other thing you got to keep in mind when you're going back to a diet that has carbs in it, it's not like a carnivore diet where you don't need to control your calories. When you're trying to lose fat and you're not on a specific diet, you need to control the calories. So what I did was drop all my calories intake from my day to 2,000. For that, you need to track your calories. I know it's boring because you're weighing your food, but you can't cheat your way into getting shredded. So basically, for the fourth month, I changed my diet. At the middle, about the middle of the fourth month, I started doing a little bit higher intensity cardio. I started running. Running as in keeping my heart rate between 130 BPM to 145 BPM. Light cardio run. Jogging if you prefer. So that was my fourth month. Right now I'm at the end of my fifth month. I'm still running. I'm still hitting the gym 6 times per week. But in my fifth month, I started dropping calories. Again, I started doing kind of like when you're in the prep for a competition. So the first week I did 3 days of eating 1,800 calories, 4 days of eating 2,000 calories, 4 days of refeed day. Second week, 4 days of 1,800 calories, 3 days of eating 2,000. Third week, 5 days, 2 days. Fourth week, 6 days, 1 day. After completing the last week and eating 6 days of 1,800 calories and 1 day of 2,000 calories, I was so goddamn hungry all the time that I needed a refeed week. So what I did was do a full week of eating 2,000 calories. After that, I did another test and I knew I went down to 12% body fat. So I could now try to drop down calories, but slower. When you cut from like 2,500 calories to 2,300, for example, it's not the same percentage of cutting than when you're cutting from 2,000 to 1,800. The gap that you need to fill for that is a higher percentage. So when you get to these low calories, you need to cut slowly, because otherwise your system won't have time to adjust to the new calories you're giving it. Especially when you do a shit ton of activity in your day that gets you to a crazy deficit. Right now, I'm probably at 1,000 calorie deficit. It's maintainable. I did it. You just gotta watch your protein intake. If you keep your protein high, you won't lose muscle. You won't build a shit ton either, because you're eating in a really deep calorie deficit. The important is to remember you need at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And I'm eating more than that, so I'm sure not to lose muscle mass. After that, you can adjust the fats and the carbs as you will. If you want to eat more food, eat less fat, more carbs. Why am I saying that? Because if you compare a gram of fat with a gram of carbs, the gram of fat is going to be way more caloric than the gram of carbs. When you're down to 2,000 or 1,800 calories, you'll probably want to eat a little more volume. So you need to eat more carbs and less fats. And you need to choose the foods that will make you keep dieting until you've reached your goal. Don't eat chicken, rice, and broccoli if you don't want to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. If that's not what makes you happy, that's not what makes you keep dieting, then don't eat it. I'm enjoying the foods I'm making, so I just keep going. That makes me keep going. Let's talk about cheats for a while. People are saying, oh, it's fine to cheat 1 day per week, or it's fine to have one cheat meal per week or per month or whatever. I think I had one or two cheat meals in 5 months. My cheat meals were sushis. Nothing crazy, but I wasn't in control of the added sugar the food had, and I wasn't in control of the quantities. I couldn't weight my food really. So the meal was an approximation of what I was eating when I tracked my calories in my app. And you also got to remember, when you cheat, first off, it ain't the end of the world if you do it, but you're just slowing down your process of getting to your goal. If you keep your focus on your goal, you won't want to cheat. When you see every single week the results, the fat is getting lower here, I'm getting to see my abs now, another muscle shows, you'll notice every single changes. And that's the effort you're putting in. The effort you're putting in your gym, the effort you're putting in your cardio, and the effort you're putting in your diet. If you want to cheat, and you need to cheat, it's not the end of the world. First off, write it down still. Second, try to compensate either in your day, or even better, on the day before and the day after the cheat, so that it's not as bad as if you didn't plan anything. What I mean by that is try to do a little bit more cardio, or you could also drop down a little bit your calories before and after you cheat. Keep in mind though, you need your protein to keep that muscle mass. So try to make your cheat fit into your diet. It's as simple as that. If you can make it fit, even though if it's a once per week kind of deal, you can still make it happen. It's just harder. It's harder for you. It's harder to go back to your diet because now you tasted shit food, whatever you want to eat. I don't know if it's sugars you're craving, if it's fast food you're craving. Either of those is going to set you back. So if you cheat, try to be smart about it. That's all I'm telling you to do. So right now, I'm at the end of my 5th month, down to 12% body fat and still going. Right now, I'm eating about 1,850 calories per day, and I'm maintaining that number. And I'm keep going until I reach my goal. You might say, well, Alex, you don't really need to go down from what you have right now is crazy. 12% body fat is maintainable. 12% body fat is kind of healthy, but I want to prove to myself that I can go down in the single digits. I set myself a goal in my head. I told myself I was going to 10% or a little bit less to see what the single digit body fat felt like. Am I going to sustain the single digit body fat? Probably not. First off, it's not healthy to stay there. Second, it's probably a shitty spot to be, honestly. Your metabolism is going to tank and you won't be happy. So I'm going to go down to my goal and then I'm going to go back a little bit, by a little bit, up to about 12% body fat and maintain that. If one day I want to go down, I want to go back down for whatever reason, maybe a bodybuilding show, who knows? I'm not there yet, but I might do it someday. If I want to go down one day, I'll know I can. I'll do it, then I'll come back to 10-12% body fat. Why am I saying 10-12? Because around 12 is sustainable. Keep in mind, not everybody is built the same. Some people can maintain under 10% body fat all year round without too much effort because of their system. When you see that the body fat level you're at is doing something bad to you, bad to your body, bad to your mood, bad to your metabolism, that means you've gone under the body fat percentage that your body is comfortable with. So you'll know my comfort zone is between this and this. When I say this and this, I mean you'll know the bottom body fat you can go to be comfortable, and you'll know the body fat level you don't want to surpass, because over that, you won't have the physique you want. Throughout your journey, keep track of your body weights, of your body fat, and keep track of yourself. Take progress pictures, take videos, and compare them to the body fat level you're at so that you'll know what the body fat level you're at looks like for you. On your body, this body fat level is this shape. This body fat level as abs. This body fat level is way too fat. I can't see definition in my muscle whatsoever. Maybe twice per week, I take videos of myself for 2 reasons. First, to post on social media. Second is to see where I'm at and compare it with myself a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago. See, okay, do I need to improve there? Do I need to improve there? Which body fat looks better? Am I losing fat? Am I working a muscle group too much? Where are my weaknesses on my body? I keep videos of everything and I keep you guys posted just to show you my journey of how I got to 12%.